Hello, my Health Freedom Idaho friends. Misty Karlfeld here with Health Freedom Idaho, and I'm here with my dear friend Kristine. She's headed to Idaho Supreme Court.
Yes.
And what is that court date, Kristine?
May 10th. I believe that's a Wednesday. 11.
And can people be in the courtroom with you?
Yes, it is public. Anybody who wants to come is more than welcome to come. There's a lot of people that showed up from my other hearings, so I wanted to invite them back if they wanted to come back and be part of it. They certainly can, and if they can't make it, you can watch it streaming on their website.
How many years ago was it that we filled that place out in Caldwell?
5 years. It's been 5 years.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah.
you said at the time, like, once I get my son home and he's grown, I will be taking care of this. And you have. You've been doing, trying to do legislation. You've had bills written. You've been taking this case now all the way to the Supreme Court. So what exactly is being heard when you go to the Supreme Court?
On May 10th, it is a decision hearing. When you appeal, you have a decision hearing, and they tell you if they side with you or if they side with if the state. In my case, the district court dismissed my case, my appeal, in its entirety with prejudice. The district judge at that time, which I believe his name was Judge Medema, decided that all of the defendants had immunity. But you don't have immunity when you violate the law in the ways that they did. We thought we made that very clear. Hence, the appeal to the Supreme Court is the next step up. My case is a civil rights violation case. We have civil rights, we have the constitutional rights, we have, under our state law, you can't make false reports. And that was done since the start of all of this by social workers and doctors. So that's why we have the appeal going on now. That's the next step in it. So this hearing on the 10th, they're either going to side and say, go through with your appeal, or they're going to say, no, we side the other way. And then at that point, I'll know what my options are with my attorney. But I'm thinking, and I have to appeal it into U.S. Supreme Court. But I'm not exactly sure. I'll know more after I meet with Nathan, who's my attorney on this case. So
Wow. And is he a local attorney?
Yeah, he's Idaho Falls.
Awesome. The more brave attorneys we can have here in Idaho, the better for our parents who've been violated by CPS. It's not every attorney who's willing to take that on, as you know.
He's done a great job. You have to keep looking to find the right one who will fight for you, just like Johan Klaus did for me during all my other cases when this all started 5 years ago.
We filled out that, what was that building?
The Magistrate Juvenile Center.
Out in Caldwell. We filled that up. They did not expect a massive crowd.
No, I think it shows how the community can be involved. When wrongful things happen and you wrongfully separate an innocent mother and an innocent child, people are going to stand up and say, hey, we're peacefully coming here. We're going to stay here. We're going to stand with these parents and these children, and we're going to see it through to the end. And, I'm very grateful for each and every one of you who showed up. So thank you again for being there. And I'd love for you to be there again if you guys want to see it all the way through. And if you can't, feel free to stream it on their website. According to my attorney, he said that this is going to be a very interesting hearing. I agree. It should be rather interesting to see which way it goes.
Yeah. And it's fast too. It's only like an hour, right?
About an hour.
Yeah. They limit your time. At that time, I didn't know you, but I remember you walking in my house with your big binders full of every document. I said, okay, well, do you have the medical record? Oh, yep. I have it right here. Boop, boop, boop. Do you have the police report? Yep. And I was like, okay, this is not a mother who's not attentive to her son, clearly.
Yeah. What they've done. And they continue to do it. Yeah. It's a shame that we didn't get, it's unfortunate that we didn't get the piece of legislation to prevent this from happening. We did get a bill, at least it got assigned a bill number, and it would have been nice to at least have it gone that far this year. Unfortunately, it did not. We can prevent this if we have the right law in place. And while we have some good law, you can't falsely report. There needs to be stronger ones.
Yeah.
There needs to be stronger code.
Yeah, for sure. The organization you started, what is that called?
Power.
Mm-hmm. And what does that stand for?
So it's Parents' Objectives with Essential Rights.
Nice. starting that organization, running a bill now, and then also going to court. And I'm assuming you're still working your regular job in the middle.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And your son is grown, so he's not quite as much care. So he's doing his own thing.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't when he was 15 when this happened either, but he's going to be
Right.
20 in July. He's become quite the young man.
Kristine's son was separated from her when they were transferred from St. Al's to St. Luke's. And she was actually going to St. Al's because he was unwell and not holding down food and needed some hydration. And she was trying desperately, as a mother would, to figure out why he was dehydrated, wasn't eating well, wasn't keeping food down, and went several times.
We were screened for child abuse. We were screened for child neglect. We were seen by a master social worker. We were seen by a child psychiatrist. They all said, no, this child's sick. The mother's taking care of him. She's getting treatment for him here. He's due to go back home with her after he's healthy and well again. We were there for 7 days. And one doctor that never saw him before in his life came on without seeing him that entire week we were there. And within a few moments decided, oh no, she must have starved her child. I'm going to call CPS.
Unbelievable.
So it does concern me when you're at a hospital, a children's hospital, and these specialists, whether it's a hospitalist specialist who initiated the call in the first place, or a CARES doctor, which is a child abuse specialist doctor, it concerns me as a parent that they went against their own colleagues' recommendations. I feel as a parent that care specialist should know the difference between actual abuse and a child who is being seen for the flu.
Right.
So there is valid concern why this is continuing to happen. It's not just my case.
Oh, no, it isn't. Go to Health Freedom Idaho and see a bunch of cases. Certainly, I wouldn't be doing presentations and pouring my heart out if it wasn't a continuing problem. Then we bring bills every legislative session and hope just one, passes so we can get a little bit more breathing room for parents.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is there's all of this funding that incentivizes CPS to take children. And that funding isn't incentivizing taking children. I think we're going to continue to have a problem. I made the point in my last presentation, I have a property management company. If I want to grow my budget, if I want to pay my employees, if I want to keep my lights on, I have to have more houses. What does CPS need to do those things? They have to take more kids.
They have to take more children. Yeah.
And it's disgusting. It's disgusting that it's set up that way. So anyway, I don't want to get too lost in the weeds because I want people to watch this and know that they really should show up to the Supreme Court on May 10th. It's really important, and especially if you were involved in the case from the beginning. Your son was returned to you.
Yes.
And
16 months later.
Makes me sick every time.
Well, that's legally how long they can receive funding for.
Right.
And then when the CPS judge doesn't even name you as the person who abused and neglected your child, yet you have a criminal charge you have to take care of before you can get your reunification. There was a lot. It was heavy. It was very heavy. They did not want me to have my son back. And Johan told me that many times. He goes, no, we're going to get him back home. But you need to understand just how much they don't want you to have him. And you're talking about a 15-year-old young man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it speaks to your strength and courage and your son as well.
The third attorney I had was not representing me. He was telling me that I would lose my child but I would win my criminal case, but I would lose my child. And that was not an option.
No.
To me, that was just not an option. And when I went to my fourth attorney, which was Johan, he was like, no, he goes, you're not going to lose your child. We're going to get this. He won't take a case unless he knows he can win it. And he knew the law behind it. He knew that what they did was wrong.
Yeah.
And while it took a very long time to turn the ship around, which was the analogy that, Johan worked through all of this, it does. It takes a long time to turn something like what they've done around.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So all of that being said, now you're headed to the Supreme Court, and then you sent me a document.
So this document is public knowledge also. I don't share anything unless it's public knowledge, of course. And this is directly on the legislative website for the Idaho State Supreme Court.
Okay, so am I understanding this right, that all of these different people have their own attorney? So Amy Barton, I remember her name.
She's the CARES doctor, so she's the child abuse doctor.
Right? And so she's the one that made this whole thing happen. So she has her own attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jennifer King, MD, has her own attorney.
Right. So Jennifer King was a St. Al's doctor who initiated this CPS call.
So it's all of these attorneys pretty much against your attorney?
Yeah.
Your one attorney?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then I see Raul Labrador, Attorney General, for respondent Teresa Torres. And who was Teresa?
She was a social worker at the hospital. Between her. So the lineup above that, you'll see the detective, Aaron Pond, and then the prosecuting attorney, Sherry Dodge. They share the same attorney. For some reason, I don't know why. But Detective Pond and Teresa Torres were at the hospital and separated us there at the hospital.
So it's interesting to me why he would represent Teresa. I mean, I don't understand. She's the one that separated you guys at the hospital.
I don't either. And I was informed in one of the hearings when it was down at the district court level, as you'll see up there, yes, it was Judge Medema with district court. They informed us that one of those hearings, Teresa did not have Raul Labrador as an attorney yet at that time. She had someone else, perhaps from the state at the time. And that particular person had said that she is no longer a social worker with the state or employed by the state. I'm not quite sure what I was supposed to do or what they thought I would do with that information, but that was what was given to us, was that fact.
Interesting. If she's no longer with the state, I don't know what the rules are, but I wouldn't think Raul would be representing her if she was no longer working for the state.
I don't know, unless she is now, and or maybe because she was at the time.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Yeah, that could be. Wow. Well, I hope that somehow this video gets to Raul or the videos before, and that he gets an earful about what a wonderful woman and mother you are, how hard you worked to get your son back, how mistreated your son was. I mean, we have a whole video on that. If anybody has the courage to watch it, how mistreated your son was in the system, and how much money and time it took for you to get him back where he wanted to be and where he belonged. And all because it is Dr. Amy Barton and this Teresa Torres and Sherry Dodge, let's not forget, separated you from your son against both of your wills and just went on this wretched path for absolutely no reason because your son was sick. I mean, I don't understand how they think that this is going to turn out when they have parents so fearful to go to the hospital when they actually need to, because their child's going to get taken from them. I don't understand how they think this is actually going to go well. But I hope Raul, let this please reach his ears, that he looks to be defending someone who separated you from your son wrongly. It was even found to be wrongly.
Yes.
I will be praying. For that specifically.
Yeah. My attorneys and I were all rather interested to see what his response is going to be to this.
Yeah. Because I know he knows. There's issues here. I mean, of course, if you're paying attention in Idaho, you know that there's problems with CPS and the Health and Welfare Department as a whole. And then you had one of the judges. How many judges are on the Supreme Court?
I believe there's 5.
Yeah, that's what I remember. And then you had one recuse herself. And then does she have to give a reason?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know what the reason was, or if there was even one given. But I do know we were just informed, I think it was Friday, that another judge, a senior judge, has been assigned in her place. So.
Wow.
That's basically all we know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hope that's good news because bias is a hard thing to get over. And I actually do respect it when a person says this one's just too hard. I can't, So anyway, it is at least respectable, but I hope she wasn't replaced by someone who's biased against you and just won't admit it.
I guess only time will tell.
Yes. Well, you know that you have my prayers. I think you
Yeah.
are an incredible woman and mom. And you said so many times they poked the wrong mama bear, and you've shown that to be true all these years.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate everybody's support that's, hung in there with me through this and, stand with me with wanting the change and that needs to desperately happen. I think Idaho is much better than this. And I think we can come up out of this, but we need to work together to make it happen.
Yeah, I agree. And if you win your case, that could go a long way to making something good happen.
It could. Yeah. In fact, that's my lawsuit attorney right now. Yeah. We are very much looking forward to seeing what the 10th is like. And he's telling me, whoever can show up, who's ever got the free time to spend there with us for half an hour, we'd love to see you there. Because this is, not just in supporting me, but in supporting the fact of this issue that continues to happen. So it's about stopping the wrongful separations. It's bringing awareness of what continues to happen and why we need to stop it.
Right.
So I'm more interested in finding out what the decision is going to be on that. I'm going to be paying my attorneys and my bills and all my debt that I have, for the rest of my life. So it's a lot. We'd only been here in Nampa Caldwell area for 6 months before this happened 5 years ago.
Wow.
We moved here from out of state, from Oregon. And we thought it was just so much better here. And one of the main reasons why we moved here was for the medical. We had heard so much that medical, was so much better here. And having a less populous state, the doctors could have more one-on-one with their patients. So by having, my mom is an elderly lady, and then you have something like this happen, we wanted to purchase a home here. We had, all these things here to do here, and we can't do that now. I actually don't even have a credit score anymore because my debt is so bad. I got an email from Experian that says you no longer have a credit score. And I thought, this is a joke, right? So I sent it to my attorneys and they're going, nope, sorry to say that's true. And it's unheard of. My criminal attorney, he's like, I've never even seen that happen before. But that's, if you want your kids back, that's how hard you have to fight. So if that means I rent for the rest of my life and I work the rest of my life and I don't have retirement, but you know what? I have my son and we're healthy and we're happy and we're together. And, he's home where he belongs.
Wow.
So until he's ready to move out, of course, on his own, but,
Yeah. The financial devastation, the emotional devastation.
It's hard. It's not easy. It is tough. It is tough. The financial aspect of it is tough. Absolutely. I won't sugarcoat it. It's tough.
Yeah. Right. And I don't think you should. I think people should have to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, Kristine, I will see you soon, friend, and I'll be praying with you until then. And I hope everybody watching will join us there on May 10th. At what time again? 11. I can't wait. And I hope and anticipate great things.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Goodbye
you.
for now, friends.
Bye-bye.